Welcome back to the show, everybody, and welcome to a part of the world that Bob and I just found magnificent. Pristine and beautiful, it is the Cook Islands. The Cook Islands lie virtually in the center of the Polynesian Triangle of the South Pacific. They're flanked to the west by Tonga and Samoa, and to the east by Tahiti and French Polynesia. The 15 islands that form the Cook Islands are scattered over an area of some 2 million kilometers. It is a magnificent, beautiful island. Rarotonga is the capital. That's where we are now. And the capital of Rarotonga, it is the most populated, is only 10,000. You want to get away from it all. You want to experience some great Polynesian culture. Look here. You go to the Cook Islands, and I'm telling you, all the stress of life will leave you. It is a great place and a wonderful place. And perhaps one of the most fascinating things about the Cook Islands is, of course, the local people. Fascinating because of their great history and culture, but even more than that, they're so warm and so helpful and so wonderful. The Cook Islands down in the South Pacific present magnificent weather, and of course, well, you knew I'd get to this. Some great fishing, wonderful fishing down there, and we're going to show you some great fishing here in more episodes to come and in this episode. The Cook Islands, folks, are for you. Polynesian Airlines can get you there from Los Angeles International Airport and from other areas. All I have to say to you finally is go to the Cook Islands. You will love it, you will enjoy it, and you will see some of the best fishing, some of the most pristine beauty that you could ever imagine in your life. Rarotonga is where we're at. We're going to take you fishing. We're going to take you around the town. We're going to show you the Cook Islands in the South Pacific. Take a look at this beautiful sea.
Good morning, everybody. It's good to have you here in the Cook Islands with us. We're in one of the beautiful harbors here in the Cook Islands, and we've managed to hook up with one of the local fishermen. You can see his little boat back here, nice and sturdy, and we're really looking forward to getting out and working the reef with James. That's one of the best things about the Cook Islands, folks. The people here have been absolutely wonderful. We met this man in a restaurant, and he's going to take us out for a day's fishing. So come along. We'll see how we do out on the reef here at the Cook Islands. James, where are we heading today? We're going out to the reef?
We'll go reef, down the buoy, just to bag something for us around the island.
What kind of fish can you catch on the reef here in the Cook Islands?
My also.
And do you have to go far out for the tuna, or are they along the reef too?
Yeah, they run around the reef.
Good.
Sometime at the buoy.
And you can really go around this entire island in what, 3 hours?
3-4 hours. Depends what sort of speed you go.
Normally you're going to encounter really nice weather, aren't you?
Oh yeah, yes.
Well, we've got it today. It's a beautiful day out here. I'm looking forward to.
Right.
How about tiger sharks? Can we get into those?
Oh, yeah.
I want to get in the water with a knife in my teeth with one of those. There is a few sharks around too, isn't there?
Yeah, not that much. Not just a reef shark. That's all. Hammerhead.
Good deal. Beautiful day today.
Well, every day is a beautiful day in the Cook Islands. I'm talking about climate that is absolutely beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. We're setting some jig lines back with some feathers back behind the skiff here as you see us, and we're literally 100 yards outside the harbor. In fact, many of the local fishermen say, hey, we start trolling inside the harbor. We catch some Dorado every once in a while in here, some giant trevally, yellowfin tuna are inside the harbor, and just outside you hear tales of 400 and 500 and 600 plus pound blue marlin coming up and trying to bite at the baits or feathers as they're trolled through the water. Well, Bob Alvarez already got a jig strike. He throws on a nice little yellowfin tuna on the way down the reef. We've got a couple of yellowfin going, and of course in the Cook Islands around Rarotonga you can catch the yellowfin tuna. You can catch plenty of wahoo when they show up. You can also catch the marlin. All kinds of varieties of the surface stuff is all around this beautiful little pristine island. Of course, we want to give you something, a look at something a little bit different. So we thought we would troll on the way down to the Oka grounds. Well, what are the Oka grounds, you may ask? Well, the huge expanse of coral that surrounds Rarotonga is full of all kinds of bottom fish. I mean, a great deal of different types of bottom stuff, and we thought we'd give you a look at that in future shows. Of course, we'll show you some of the hot surface action as you see this next yellowfin tuna coming on board. Bob's all set to put a gaff in it, but we thought we'd give you a look at some of the magnificent species, the oddities of the sea, as Bob likes to say, that abound down there in the reef and are hanging around. There's James. What a delightful man. He literally turned this boat over to Bob and I, and Bob and James together there with a little yellowfin tuna. You can have a ball with a light line on these things, but now we want to turn our attention to the oddities of the deep. You fish them like you would shallow water rockfish. Even a canyon will work at times, or bouncing a nice chrome jig off the bottom is certainly very, very effective on the bottom stuff. And now, as you see James, he's holding up a chrome jig, giving you a look at one of the bottom biters. Man, are they good eating. This one's a little small, so we tossed it back. And what the heck is this doggone thing? Another iron biter and another weird-looking fish. And talk about weird, we thought James had a doggone snake when he lifted this thing on board. All kinds of oddities being lifted out of the deep. But what we're really after is a fish we call the oka. At least the Cook Islanders call it the oka. More specifically, it is the leopard rockfish. And over in Australia, when you're fishing the Great Barrier Reef, they will refer to them as coral trout. They are a brightly colored fish, a beautiful colored fish, and a wonderful eating fish. And man, are they aggressive. I mean, you drop an iron down there and bounce it off the reef, and these things smack at it so hard, they rip the rod right down to the water. Some of them get nice and big. I mean, nice and big. And boy, are they an aggressive species of fish. You dump a shrimp fly ganglion down there and twiddle it around, and bam, you'll feel these things jump right on there. Take a look at this gorgeous leopard rockfish as Bob is ready to lift it on board. It's a beautiful fish, and on the iron, let me tell you, they are an absolute ball. There were times on this trip when we hooked fish, we never slowed down. We have no idea. On the 40-pound, on the 60-pound monofilament line, we couldn't slow them down. And at times you felt like you were reeling in one of these okas, and then wham, you'd lose the darn thing. You'd have a doggone bigger fish come in and bite it. Here comes another beautiful oka. Now, Bob and I were fortunate enough to be able to take these things back in, fillet them up, and try them out, and they are a wonderful eating fish. And they're plentiful down there in the Cook Islands. Yeah, you get a look at the tuna and the wahoo all the time with us here on the 976 Tuna Saltwater Action Series. That's why we wanted to show you these oka. And another thing that's great about the oka is if you fish them with a light tackle, you drop down there with something like 15-pound mono and catch one of these things. I'm telling you, they pull string off the reel. They are an absolute joy to catch. And to be perfectly candid with all of you great folks, Bob and I had to almost flip a coin. Do we want to go catch some tuna today, or do we want to go play on the reef and bounce an iron and catch an oka or two, or maybe even something a little bit different than that? Here comes a beautiful big oka. James, the guy that we met down there in the Cook Islands, the local fisherman, had never bounced an iron before in his life, didn't even understand the concept. When Bob and I showed him how to yo-yo a jig or drop it down there and bounce it off the bottom, his little eyes lit up like you can't believe. And we know James is down there with all the iron we left him, really having some fun and catching plenty of the oka. Absolutely fun fishing. It's a little bit different than the tuna and the wahoo, but it's another alternative available to you in the South Pacific. Well, nighttime has come, and it's a time for us now to show you a little bit about Rarotonga. We want to show you some of the sights of this beautiful South Pacific island because it is really a special place, and we hope you can get down there soon. Take a look at this water. It is absolutely beautiful. For you divers, the visibility is somewhere between 100 and 200 feet in most cases. Don't know how to dive? Well, they'll teach you in the Cook Islands. They'll be happy to do that. There's all kinds of water sports and beautiful hotels. The Rarotonga here is an absolutely beautiful place with wonderful food and entertainment, and you must see the island nights there. The girls dancing, and of course the culture and the history, something that you're just not going to believe. And of course, you talk about beautiful scenery and pristine, gorgeous beauty. Look at this. This is something that you'll never, ever forget if you can get down to the Cook Islands. Talk about water sports, all kinds of water sports. Parasailing, you can go out and do the windsurfing, anything you want to do. You can do it in the Cook Islands, or if you just want to get away and be alone, well, you can do that also. Sneak away with a good book. There's even the crab races, and yours truly couldn't find Santa Anita down there in the Cook Islands, so the next best thing in this case was the crab races, and we got into it, Bob and I, and had an absolute ball We really enjoyed it. Folks, we're going to go to a commercial. We'll let you see this horse drive to the finish line. Here he goes. We'll be back in a moment. Well, we certainly hope you can get out at Guadalupe Island on the Polaris Supreme and experience some really wonderful yellowtail action. You see these big yellowtail coming on board the Supreme, and get out there with the Riddler, Tommy Rothery, the great skipper of the Polaris Supreme. You're going to enjoy the Supreme, and you are going to enjoy Guadalupe Island. And if you can get to the Cook Islands, remember, Polynesian Airlines can take you there, and you are going to love it. Have a good time. It's wonderful in the Cook Islands to get away from it all, to catch some great fish, and experience an island, a chain of islands that'll blow your mind. Absolutely beautiful and lots of fun. I hope you get to the Cook Islands very, very soon and enjoy the trip of a lifetime. Folks, it's time to say goodbye again. It's time to thank you for allowing us into your home. For Bob Alvarez, this is Phil Friedman saying thanks so much for joining us on the 976 Tuna Saltwater Action Series. A reminder to you that while you're waiting for us next week, you can catch us on the 976 Tuna hotline right now. Dial 976 Tuna. Same fish time, same fish channel. We'll see you next week.